Hi, this is Susan Fowler with a question. Are you a low effort thinker? Now, if you're watching this, you're probably a high effort thinker, which begs the question, why are you checking in to see if you're a low effort thinker? Well, let me pose a good reason. Even intelligent people fall prey to misinformation, logical fallacies, and moral disengagement. Some of the most intelligent and highly educated people in one area of their life have embraced easily debunked ideas or theories in other areas of their life. Could you have fallen prey or unwittingly fallen into a low effort thinking trap? Maybe it's time to consider, is your thinking driving someone else nuts? you know, After all, most low effort thinkers don't describe themselves that way, right? So here are three telltale signs to see if you're a low effort thinker. So maybe you answer a question about your opinion, position, or conclusion with another question. I can usually tell when a friend of mine has been watching a popular cable TV show because their host, their trademark is to comment on issues and to provoke conclusions by simply asking questions. So the host never has to provide proof or defend their position because technically they're not stating an opinion. They don't have a position. They're simply asking the question. Socrates asked questions and led people to conclusions as well. But the difference is context and intention. Socrates had an intention to encourage mindfulness, to stimulate critical thinking, to help people see different types of perspective. So the conclusion they reached was defensible. But so often, these purveyors of misinformation or these people who want you to come as a follower of their beliefs are actually triggering anxiety, and they're promoting confirmation bias. So I think it's really important to ask ourselves, have I bought into someone else's attempts to manipulate my opinion? And the only defense I have is to reiterate the questions they used to rope me in. Or maybe I've just failed to explore the topic in enough depth to be able to defend it. Either way, I've succumbed to low effort thinking. Now, the second telltale sign is that you lapse into what's called a logical fallacy. This is when you believe something. For example, the fallacy of what's called an argument from ignorance. Now, by the way, I hope that you'll actually go to my Smart Brief article. It's called "Are You a Low Effort Thinker?" It's from January 2022. So just go to Smart Brief on leadership because I have embedded links and references and resources. I'm trying here just to give you, an overview, but the article goes into a little bit more detail. But one of the fallacies is called an argument from ignorance. And this is when we believe something because there's no evidence against it. So rather than keeping an open mind about UFOs, for example, instead we say, I believe in UFOs because they've never been disproven. So remember, you can't just believe in something because it's not been disproven. You can't just say an idea is not true or not proven to be untrue, and so it's true. Recognize that when you employ or accept an argument from ignorance, you're simply shifting the burden of proof away from yourself to someone else. So low effort thinkers rarely question the validity or reliability of their source. So for example, if somebody says, don't take a vaccine, just take high doses of vitamin D, because it's never been disproven that vitamin D prevents COVID. That is an argument from ignorance. So if you find yourself opting for an unproven solution, ask yourself why you are choosing to believe that over another alternative. Or do you have a legitimate rationale? Or are you grasping for something else that you need more than the truth? The third thing that we could be doing that proves that or indicates that we're a low effort thinker is that we morally disengage, or we simply don't recognize and counter the people who are morally disengaged. One of the things that is really prevalent, I see a lot, is called, I call it whataboutism, but it's actually called an advantageous comparison. So let's just say, for example, let's say that you're caught red-handed. You've done something that's either outright suspicious, illegal, or unethical. And when shown the evidence of your illegal or bad act, your defense is, well, what about so and so? You never called them out on their bad behavior. Now, you might be right. Maybe there's unequal treatment and it's not fair, but that doesn't mean that your behavior is less wrong. So, whataboutism is blatantly illogical. If you thought that so and so was wrong and should have been held to account for their behavior, how do you defend yours or somebody else's actions who have done the same thing as not being wrong or illegal or unethical? In describing the danger of morally disengaged leaders, the brilliant social psychologist Albert Bandura quoted Voltaire, and he said, "If you can lead people to believe absurdities, you can get them to commit atrocities." The combination of morally disengaged leaders with low effort followers is truly dangerous. So let me just say in conclusion, I really work intentionally to avoid low effort thinking, and it takes time. When friends share stories that they find online, I root out reliable resources on the topic. I try to sort fact from fiction, and I consider probabilities, not just possibilities. But, high effort thinking also means that I've discovered from time to time that I'm mistaken. I've found myself needing to change my mind and my position on various issues, but I refuse to call that hypocritical. See, what I prefer to think is that low effort thinking stilts your evolution. High effort thinking is the fodder, it's the food, it's for the process of evolving. I believe we can all benefit from high effort thinking because we're better able to tolerate different perspectives, embrace nuanced arguments, and hold opposing ideas as food for thought, even if occasionally we end up needing to eat our own words. So here's to high effort critical thinking. Hope you'll read my blog, check out some of the resources, and then think about the low effort thinkers who are driving you nuts and make sure that you're not one of them. Thanks for listening.